and let's talk Tulane and Oklahoma. This one last week would have been like, let's say Tulane wins. You're like, all right, this is a huge game. Tulane's probably ranked. Jake looks like he's been through the ringer, but you're just in time to talk now SEC football. Tulane gets in a dogfight last week with Kansas State. Oklahoma gets in a dogfight with Houston, who got blown out by UNLV, which I'm sure somebody will mention. JP, tell us your thoughts on this matchup.
I mean, looking at the game last week, we really did think that was a chance Kansas State could lose. By the way, Tulane had a chance to tie that game late. Mensa just made too many freshman mistakes. Bad sacks that were taken, not getting the ball thrown away, a bad pick here or there. He fumbles a ball when it just needs thrown away. Just get it out of your hands. Just too many freshman mistakes. Now the kid's got to go on the road into Norman against a Venables defense who still is very good and they're very confident in. And so now it just gets tougher for the kid. I think the thing that kind of got out of his way is that he tried to be hero. He tried to play hero ball in a lot of ways, and it's just not possible. And it's definitely not going to be possible in this atmosphere and in this situation because Oklahoma got a scare last week. You don't think that they've circled Tulane like, hey, you play like that again, this team will legit beat you. And so, like, I think it's circled, and it's harder to call an upset when one was close last week to a big upset, and the other one got a good scare off a team that's not as good as Tulane coming in there. When I look at Oklahoma and their offense, I'm going to start on the offensive side of the ball for them. Jackson Arnold, like, poor guy, just wants to be a guy in Norman that people like, but he's running for his life at all times. They haven't gotten the run game going as much. It's more so by committee. They can't throw the football. He's under pressure. His completion percentage is around 60%. The offensive line just needs to get something figured out. And I know Tulane's not going to come in there with defensive line pressure up the wazoo. I mean, they had 0 sacks last week. I mean, possibly of getting some this week just with Oklahoma and the way they're struggling. But if you're Oklahoma, it's like, let's get right now. Like, this offense has to start working a little bit better. It can't just be a defense and special teams type recipe playing in the SEC. When you got a guy in Arnold that they're really confident in, was that what regarded out of high school?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. I also kind of look at last week when you take a look at Oklahoma and what did Houston do to stay competitive within that game? Because on paper, you would have thought Oklahoma would have rolled in. Jackson Arnold had a big day. The defense got stopped just like UNLV did. Then all of a sudden, Oklahoma only puts up 249 yards and goes 4 for 14 on third downs in their own house. They're giving you a blueprint here, Tulane. You've got to just slow the game down. Houston dominated time of possession last week and only forced one turnover. 35 minutes to 24 minutes on the Oklahoma side. Houston won that time of possession battle. I think you got to look to do the same here. Get Mekhi Hughes going on the ground. I do think this is a good sneaky spot for the Green Wave to start building back up. They should have gotten that one last week if they didn't fumble and get that scoop and score late. Jake, if your mic works, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, can you hear me? Or my end?
Hear you, brother.
I don't. Yeah,
like
it's
Apple
been
bang up job.
Apple's doing something wrong. Because anybody in the comments know what a new laptop costs? You let me know.
A lot, Jacob.
$1,000.
Yeah, probably. All right.
This guy's got money.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep it short. From what I saw last week, I really don't know what I'm getting into this game. Like, does Willie Fritz give his old team some tips on how to play this team defensively in Oklahoma? Because I think he had Jackson Arnold last week in some fits, and I think Tulane's got enough weapons. I mean, we've mentioned them 100 times, right? I think they have enough weapons to maybe
absolutely
give Oklahoma some problems defensively. But also, Danny Stetsman's one of the best in the country, and so is Billy Bowman. And that defensive line's getting a lot better. Like Dominic Williams in the middle, the TCU transfer, he was big last week too. So there's just spots like this is the one game this week on our slate I just really don't know. I could see it going either way. I could see Oklahoma getting pissed, winning by 40, and I could see Tulane having a shot until the end. I'm terrible with this projection right now.
Yeah, and that's a fair place to be with the way both of these teams played last week. It literally puts them in the middle. Reese, any thoughts on this matchup?
Shafe, you missed an opportunity there. You said, will Willie Fritz's old team give his old team, you said, like, issues? You should have said the fits, Like, you could have had a double on. You had some words here.
I was like, where are you going with that?
You literally later, you even said somebody give somebody the fits. Man, you missed an opportunity right there. I thought you were going to nail it.
Yeah, come on.
But it's like, do you go with the team that struggled last week at home? Again, you make observations, don't overreact. You imagine they're going to make some adjustments against that, like they had against that Houston team, especially when you're going to be a little more motivated with this Tulane team. You saw what they did last week, but I think with this one, I think you ride with the team who played very well last week and, like I said, should have won that ball game. But Mensa just made some, those freshman mistakes that he made. Is he going to learn from those? This is true. Probably the hardest game he's going to have on his schedule this year, going on the road to Norman. So it's kind of hard to bet on that. It's not easy to put your money on a freshman quarterback going into this kind of an environment. But I think this is an opportunity for they'll keep it closer. If they win this game, I don't think any of us would be shocked. But I think Tulane keeps us within the number.
Yeah, I think the number is a big thing to look at here, Reese. That's a perfect point because it is 13.5. We're talking, they're thinking Oklahoma's going to win by 2 touchdowns. I don't know if that offense showed you enough against a very okay Houston defense last week. Here comes Tulane, who put up 27 and probably should have been 34 on a Kansas State team that has somewhat of a decent defense and pretty much did what they wanted to all day. Another fun storyline here is Tulane's got an opportunity here to right the ship of what Michael Pratt tried to do in this building 3 years ago now. So another opportunity in Norman for the Green Wave. JP, kick us off, roundtable style, score prediction.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this one, but I am going to take the Venables team at home just to win by 2 scores. I mean, I'm thinking slow down. Mensa's he's going to have weapons in Williams and Hughes in the backfield. It's just going to be a little too much in Norman to keep this one close. So I'm going to go 24-13. I think it's just a lower score. And I don't think anybody pops off quite in this one. Oklahoma doesn't quite get great on offense, but Tulane really just can't find their footing.
We are all floating around each other this week. Give me Oklahoma at home. I had 27-17. So Tulane covering the number. Give me the Green Wave on the ATS board. But Venables gets a pretty good win in our book at home here. Reese.
JB, I might have spaced out. Did you just take Oklahoma to cover, but then you said 24-13?
Yeah, I was going to address that after everybody picked.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like,
guys,
hang on, we gotta figure out math here. We're not all that.
I think I meant to say 27-13.
The math ain't mathing.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. I'll take Oklahoma to win this football game, but I'm going to take Tulane to cover it. Give me 27-20.
God, we're all around that number, Jake. Pick something crazy.
I want to first say and it's not all Jackson Arnold's fault. Like Sawchuk could help out. Like they could run the ball better. We can even go back to week 1. Like there's some red flags with this Oklahoma offense right now. Like Temple was terrible and they were still kind of slow and methodical. Like that being said, I'm going to take the Green Wave here. I hate that it's 13.5. I absolutely hate it, but I think they're even fast enough to score a backdoor touchdown if needed be. So that being said,
you're welcome.
If you're going to give me a backdoor, oh man, I don't make it closer than it is. 27-17 probably is where I'll put this. I just don't see Oklahoma scoring that many points, but I also don't see Tulane being slowed down that much.
Did I not say that same score prediction?
It's pretty close, I think.
27-17.
I thought I said the same thing, but
hey,
it's fine.
What if it hits?
You couldn't have. Barks,
what if it hit? 1 in a million.
No, I didn't. I took the Green Wave on the ATS board. You got to dial in, Schaefer. This is an important damn show, and I'm giving you winners. Lock in. The kid's Wi-Fi signal's cutting me out. Damn it. All right, but that is Tulane in Oklahoma. That should be a fun one over on ESPN at 2:30 Central.